You all know me mostly for my Goddess of Victory, Nikke content, and while Nikke is tied as my favorite gacha alongside Wuthering Waves, I actually play a lot of different games. So I thought it'd be fun to start making videos where I look back at games I've played in the past, not just to review them, but to talk about why I think they never really reached their full potential. Now, I've already done a video on why I quit Genshin, but this time I want to take a different approach. Instead of just listing reasons I left, I want to break down the game as a whole, the good, the bad, and the wasted potential. Because the truth is, my relationship with Genshin is complicated. Let's start with the obvious. At its core, Genshin Impact is a great game. In fact, I'd go as far as to call it a testament of evolution in the gacha space. When it launched, it set off a massive boom, a cultural shift that pushed gacha games into the mainstream in a way no one saw coming. Without Genshin, we probably wouldn't have titles like Wuthering Waves, Anata, Azure Familiar, or Neverness to Everness. Genshin wasn't just another game, it was a gateway. And especially for mobile, it was revolutionary. Back when I picked it up, I was mostly a PC gamer, but my job kept me away from home a lot, so when I saw a game of this scale and quality running on a phone, I was blown away. I thought, if this is where gaming is headed, then I want to be a part of it. And honestly, I'm glad I gave it a chance. Playing Genshin connected me with an entire community of people who were just as passionate about games as I was. That experience alone is something I'll always appreciate. But now that the praise is out of the way, let's talk about the problems. Like I said, I've been part of Genshin's community before, and let me tell you, it's a mixed bag. Drama exists in every fandom, sure, but in Genshin, it always felt different. It was constant, and it always found a way to blow up. A big part of that, honestly, came from content creators. I don't blame them too much, drama sells and views are king. But a lot of the time, false narratives or exaggerated claims get pushed, and that pulls in die-hard fans who treat those opinions like gospel. And the community itself wasn't always the most welcoming. I remember criticizing an update once, nothing crazy, just saying I didn't like how constellations were handled, and someone told me I was brain dead. That's the kind of environment it often felt like. If you weren't 100% positive, you were the enemy. And then there's the infamous word, Hoyoverse. Now, in my eyes, being called a shill can be a compliment. If you love the game and support the good things it does, I think that's fine. But the other side of that word is ugly, because a lot of people end up defending $1 billion company no matter what, even when that company gives nothing back in return. And I get it, nobody wants to admit that their time and money might have been wasted. So you fight to make your investment feel worthwhile. But here's the truth, accepting criticism doesn't devalue your experience, it just means you want the game to be better. And that brings us to the real issue, Hoyoverse. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Hoyoverse is cheap, lazy, and fake. Take the Traveler, for example. Aether is presented as the main character, yet we can't freely switch between the twins. Why even give us the choice at the start if it ultimately means nothing? Compare that to Wuthering Waves, where you can swap your MC's gender every single day. Clearly it's not impossible, it's just something Hoyoverse doesn't want to do. That's the pattern with Genshin. Every new feature, every update, it always feels like the watered-down version of what it could have been. Remember when artifact loadouts were finally added? People begged for that for years. And when it arrived, it wasn't nearly as polished or flexible as it should have been. It was the bare minimum. And don't even get me started on rewards. I've been playing Genshin since day one, 4 years now, and I've never once felt like the community was truly rewarded for its support. Think about it. In 5 years, the only meaningful quality of life changes were adding new regions and finally raising the resin cap. And even then, the resin change didn't happen until after Wuthering Waves raised the bar. Which makes you wonder, if it was that easy, why did it take so long? Here's the hard truth. Genshin is a great game that fell victim to greed. It had all the tools to be something truly legendary, but Hoyoverse never gave it the love it needed. And when a company stops caring, the cracks start to show. So what can be done to fix it? Honestly, nothing. If you don't care, then stay and keep playing. If you do care, move on to something else. And if you're here only for the art style, trust me, there are plenty of games with even better ones. Because at the end of the day, Genshin's biggest flaw wasn't its mechanics, or its community, or even its content droughts. Its flaw was that the people in charge never loved it as much as the players did. So yeah, call me a Curabot or a shift-up bot or whatever else people like to say. That doesn't matter. What matters is the truth. Genshin Impact could have been so much more than it is today. And that's why, to me, it never reached its full potential. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think Genshin's biggest flaw really was.